What are the 9 worst foods for your Crohn's disease? What 9 foods should you avoid if you have Crohn's disease? In this video today, we are going to answer that what are the worst foods for Crohn's disease question. I'm Mike, the Heal Your Gut Guy. I had Crohn's and a nasty perianal fistula. My pants looked like a horror movie every single day. The fistulas are really gross, but now I have cured my Crohn's disease. I have healed my Crohn's disease naturally. I have no symptoms, and I've helped many people do the same, and I want to show you how to do that as well. All right, guys, let's get started with the first food. But before I do that, I have a 30-day program in the description below. And after you watch this video, go down there and download this. It's absolutely free, and it comes with a video on how to use it. So the first food that you get told you cannot eat, the worst food for Crohn's disease, is wheat, gluten, or if you read the Bible, the staff of life. You know, the body of Christ. Bread. This thing is not good for you. And this is an absolute myth lie right here, this one. It is not true whatsoever. And I know this might be hard to wrap your mind around, but think about this. You probably ate bread your whole entire life, and then one day, Crohn's happened, and then you heard something on a YouTube video or in an article you read or something a doctor told you or a naturopath told you, and you slowly started becoming more intolerant to wheat. My wheat intolerance did not start until I started a diet called the specific carbohydrate diet, and I started reading all these books that started demonizing grains. So we have to understand that Crohn's isn't caused by a poor diet, because if it was, all your friends and family would have Crohn's disease. If bread and wheat caused Crohn's, then all of your friends would have Crohn's disease, all your family would have Crohn's disease, and that's just not true. And if you took this food out of your diet, your Crohn's disease would go away, and that's not true either. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching these videos. I know this is a kind of a hard topic to swallow, especially for those of you in the holistic community. And yes, wheat has a lot of toxins and stuff. They've totally changed it the way that they harvested it over the past few years. But again, why aren't most people today, why are they eating wheat and they don't have Crohn's disease? It's because it doesn't cause Crohn's disease. Even in Europe, where the wheat is, one could argue, is cleaner, people are still coming down with Crohn's disease. So it's not the wheat, and it's not how the wheat is farmed. There's something else going on. And what I want you to think about as I'm going to the next one here, what was something that's stressful that happened in your life when your digestive issues started? Okay, what was something stressful in your life when your digestive issues started? Start thinking about that, because I'm going to come back around to that with the next one. So wheat, the worst food for Crohn's, wheat, the staff of life. No, wheat is absolutely fine. But if you are reacting to wheat, then you need to convince yourself that wheat is safe. Because if you perceive, your brain controls your gut. Your brain controls your gut. And if you perceive a food is indigestible and you eat it, it's going to give you symptoms. I started reacting to wheat when I started to perceive wheat as indigestible. And let's also factor in, I had stress in my life that was causing my symptoms and blaming it on food. So, where's my green marker? But yes, wheat is safe. You can eat wheat. And if it gives you symptoms, slowly start working it back into your diet and convincing yourself that the staff of life, that the body of Christ is good for you. You can eat the body of Christ, the staff of life, okay? The Jewish people were eating it unsourdough'd and all that stuff. You can eat the staff of life. The next food is dairy. This was a very confusing food for me even at a young age. I was just like, this is baby food. This is very easy to digest. It has all the essential nutrients. How can this not be good for you? How can this be on the worst foods for Crohn's list? It makes absolutely no sense that an easy to digest food like dairy wouldn't be on the list. That it wouldn't be good for you. You're going to have a lot of experts telling you that, oh, you only need A2 dairy, which is a lie created by this New Zealand company. It needs to be raw dairy. Hey, I recommend that you get raw dairy from an organic farm, but most people eat and drink conventional dairy and they're absolutely fine. They're great. You can tolerate dairy. You can tolerate dairy. You just have to convince yourself that it is safe for you, that you can tolerate this. You can tolerate lactose. You can tolerate casein. You can tolerate whey. These are very easy to digest molecules. They're some of the easiest to digest molecules, and it is some of the most easily accessible, scientifically and mathematically nutrients for your body. That's why it is baby food. It is so good for you. Raw, grass-fed, all that stuff, that's the best. But you can tolerate conventional dairy. You just have to convince yourself that you can. Now, when you are stressed out, do you remember that stressful event that sparked your digestive issues? Or when it started around the same time? So when you were stressed out, your body was developing extra gut cells to help you digest this hard to digest thing in your life. And then when it got resolved, your body started to get rid of these extra gut cells. And that's what causes the blood and the mucus and the pain, because we're literally removing flesh from our insides. And it's not fun. Now the next food is coffee and chocolate. I'm just pairing these two together because they're so similar. These foods are stimulants and they're also laxatives. I think coffee's more of a laxative. Now, these are foods I would prefer someone to avoid while they're healing their Crohn's, because it's hard to tell if the diarrhea is being caused by the gut itself or if it's being stimulated by coffee. Coffee can give a normal person diarrhea. And when we're dealing with Crohn's, we want to stay nice and relaxed, because the body heals fastest when it is relaxed. But if we're constantly taking a bunch of stimulants, it can make it interferes with the healing. So if you're someone that drinks, like 3 cups of coffee a day or more, I would work on reining that back to make, ideally 1 cup of coffee a day. And, chocolate, rein it back, okay? So this food is a maybe. This is a maybe. You don't have to avoid it completely, but again, it doesn't cause Crohn's disease because it's caused by stress and perceiving foods as indigestible. And the holistic community really, there's just a lot of charged emotions around coffee. There's a lot of good substitutes, dandelion coffee and stuff like that. But this is up to you. I suggest you, if you have to have coffee, if you have to have caffeine, maybe you do kombucha instead, or you rein it back to 1 cup, or you use green tea or black tea. But I like my coffee. I drink 1 cup of coffee a day. Fats. I was reading an article, written by WebMD or something like that, and they said, be very careful of fats. And this is just ridiculous. There's 2 types of vitamins. There's water-soluble vitamins and there's fat-soluble vitamins. You will die. They're called vitamins, which means they're vital to life. And if you're not getting enough fats, you're missing out on there's literally more fat-soluble vitamins than there are water-soluble vitamins. Fat is extremely important. Animal fats are extremely important, especially the dairy fats. Dairy has vitamin like butter, cream, smetana, sour cream, It has vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K2. These are all super important, and it actually tastes good. These vitamins are vital. You cannot use many minerals without these vitamins in your diet. So don't be afraid of animal fats. Animal fats are good for you. Eat as many animal fats as possible. There's also this idea that polyunsaturated fats are bad for you, like vegetable oils and stuff like that. And I agree with you. Those aren't the best foods for you to eat. But there are people who eat these foods every single day and they're absolutely fine. They have clear skin, they have no digestive issues, they have lots of energy. It's not these vegetable oils that are causing these conditions, it's stress. It's how the person perceives stress. The stress puts organs into overdrive. And when an organ is in overdrive for too long, the organs, they start to break down and we start to get symptoms. Start to look around in your life. All the people with health issues, they act different. They are usually on edge, and the people who are healthier, they don't even notice a lot of the stressors that you might notice. So I found my green pen. We got wheat's good, dairy's great, fats are awesome. We got coffee as a question mark, starches. With the GAPS diet and the specific carbohydrate diet and the keto diet and the carnivore diet and the paleo diet, starches get demonized. And starches are actually very good for you because they're the most nutrient-dense plant food. The plant has condensed its nutrients into the seed so it can grow into a baby. Weston A. Price, the king of nutrition, he traveled the world in the 1930s and saw what the primitives were eating. They were all eating starches, every single one of them, except for the Eskimos. All of them, every single one of them, were eating starches except for the Eskimos. This is the most nutrient-dense and energy-dense plant food. Your body goes through a lot of energy when it's going through Crohn's disease. So, one thing, if you're going to eat whole starches, just make sure that they are prepared correctly and that they're cooked thoroughly, because they can be a little bit harder to digest. Number 6 is spicy foods. Now, I would use caution with spicy foods because, if you get spicy foods in your eyes or you get just spicy foods on your skin, it's going to burn, it's going to hurt. And so if you have sensitive, if you have parts of your digestive system that's hurt and you're rubbing hot spicy foods into it, it's probably not going to feel good. So I would avoid spicy foods. I know everyone has a different tolerance, but I would avoid spicy foods when you're going through Crohn's disease. Candy. Is candy good or bad? Again, it's not the most nutrient-dense food, and there are more nutrient-dense things that you can be eating, but it is okay to eat candy. I wouldn't make it your full meal, but you can eat candy. But it's, there are better things for you to eat, but it is safe to eat. Alcohol. Is alcohol safe to consume when you have Crohn's and colitis? So if you're in a flare, you're probably not going to want to drink alcohol. But again, there are many people in the world who are alcoholics and they don't have gut issues. They'll literally be on the verge of death from alcoholism, but they don't have gut issues. It's absolutely amazing. So there are, maybe beer or wine. These beverages have more nutrients in it compared to liquor or vodka, the hard alcohol. So I would maybe steer towards beer and wine. Beer and wine. But I live in Ukraine, and on this side of the world, vodka is a remedy for everything. Vodka is, I'm sure not drinking a whole bottle of vodka, but a couple of shots of vodka. It's almost like a medicine here. I'm not kidding. It is a medicine. Oh, you're sick? Oh, here, take a shot of vodka and sleep it off. You'll be fine. That's how they do things over here. So again, I wouldn't go on a binger when you have Crohn's or when you're in a flare, but alcohol does not cause gut issues. It can be hard on the gut, but you should be able to tolerate alcohol just fine. You need to believe that it is safe, that it is okay to eat. I'm giving you permission that these foods are okay. I wouldn't have them in a flare because your body's already going through enough, but these things can help. Number 9 is meat. Is meat good for you? Is meat one of the worst foods for Crohn's? And some might have you believe this. There's I don't know what that book is called. It's by Dr. Klein, and it's a horrible book. He even passed away at a very early age, and it's because he didn't have enough protein to keep his body going correctly. So meat is very important to eat. Whether it's fatty meat, whether it's red meat, whether it's white meat or fish, meat is extremely important for you to eat when you are suffering from Crohn's disease. Farthest from the truth that meat is one of the worst foods for Crohn's. It is one of the best and most important foods for Crohn's because your body is burning through protein. You need meat in your diet. Whether it's bacon, fatty meat, I don't care. Chicken, fish, pork, beef, all meat is good for you. Weston A. Price, who traveled the world, all the primitive populations ate a big portion of meat. And you're sick, so you need more meat. So guys, these are the 9 worst foods or the 9 worst myths, food myths for Crohn's disease. The only food that I really recommend that you restrict is, the caffeine sources, spicy foods, maybe take it easy on the alcohol, and, it's more important that you get the nutrients into you and you don't blame foods, because perceiving foods as indigestible is what's going to give you symptoms, not the foods themselves. Step 1, what was the stress in your life that started your symptoms? Sit down with a piece of paper and start writing it out. And then 2, how is that stressful theme still in your life? What are you getting emotional about now? And what are you going to do to get over that stress? Start perceiving food as safe. I have all these steps laid out in a very easy to understand format in my 30-day plan right here. Click on the link down below. It'll take you to that video, and I'll show you everything that I did and my students did to get better for absolutely free. So guys, I'm Mike the Healer Gut Guy. I will talk to you later, and this video was the 9 worst foods for your Crohn's disease.